Let us start our program with a word of prayer with Miss Sarina Nasita, NSTP Instructor.
Our Heavenly Father, we come with reference to you. We declare your goodness and faithfulness in our lives. We exalt you, Lord, for you are worthy to receive praises and adoration. Be with us, Lord, as we hold the opening exercises for the National Service Training Program of the University. We pray that you grant us unity in one accord as we do our part to participate in the initiatives that will positively impact the life of people and will help make a difference in our community. Lord, help us to realize the outcome of the course and the role we have to play in this program. We pray that you grant compassion for the teachers, that they will be able to impart knowledge and wisdom to the students. Grant, O Lord, the genuine love for the learners, that they may be able to perform their duties with utmost diligence and dedication. Pour out your wisdom and strength, that each one will be filled and that will overflow to the students. We pray for all the students who are enrolled in this program. May you grant them the understanding and diligence towards their studies. May they realize their role and fit in the needs for the implementation of plans and activities of this program. We pray for the successful implementation of NSTP this school year 2021-2022. We pray that you protect each one of us as we do our part in order to carry out the plans and activities of the course. Radiate upon us the beauty of community service that we will be able to achieve the goals and objectives of this program with joy and commitment. Strengthen each one of us that in times of our weaknesses, you are the God who will sustain us with your grace and mercy. We lay down everything to you, for we believe that without you, we are nothing. Thank you for the success of this program. All this we pray in the precious name of Jesus our Lord and Savior. Amen.
And now, the Philippine National Anthem.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm Sir Ryan Iballes, the head of the CWTS cluster this semester, and one of your NSTP instructors, and I will be your host for this morning's opening exercises. With me is Ma'am Caris Emily Bautista, the head of the Literary Training Service Cluster.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sir Ryan. Good morning to our freshies from all the courses and colleges of the University of the Philippines, Visayas. I'm sure our freshies are all looking forward to learning more about the National Service Training Program and its components this morning.
Yes, ma'am. This morning we will be hearing from the university and the program's leadership, as well as learning more about the components our freshies are considering to join after we finish the NSTP common module. We welcome our freshmen joining us via Zoom and YouTube live stream as well.
Okay, so we would like to remind everyone to maintain decorum worthy of our titles as scholars ng bayan in the use of our Zoom chat box and question and answer panel, as well as the chat box in our YouTube live stream.
Thank you for that reminder, Ma'am Karis. I think one of the first and best lessons to learn in entering the University of the Philippines is to do everything with honor and excellence, regardless of whether we would be meeting face to face or maintaining our presence on social media.
I agree with that, Sir Ryan. So excellence would pertain to meeting or exceeding the minimum standards of quality in our academics, while honor would pertain to our attitudes and integrity. So let's start this event with the opening remarks from our immediate past NSTP Director, Professor Salaom. So Sir Ryan, could you please introduce Sir Darius to us all?
Yes, Ma'am Karis. So, Professor Salaum, or as we call him, Sir Darius, is a faculty member from the Division of Social Sciences from the College of Arts and Sciences. So he specializes in developmental psychology, and his research and publication interests are in adult health and development, family structure processes, and psychological measures. He is currently pursuing his PhD in health psychology at the Ateneo de Manila University. So despite the fact he is on study leave to pursue his PhD, he gave his time to give the opening remarks for today's program. So let's watch this.
Magandang araw po sa inyo mga partner naming mag-aaral, sa ating very supportive and sympathetic Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Philip Ian Padilla, to our current NSTP Director, Professor Nathaniel Samson, whose expertise, experience, and wisdom can take NSTP to the next level. To our very competent, compassionate, inspired, and dedicated NSTP instructors who will be your pillars and guides, as well as our very accommodating admin assistant in the office, Ma'am Celine Noalia. Good morning po sa inyo. Today, we are introduced to NSTP, or the National Service Training Program. This course can mean many things to us faculty members and to you students, the partner local government units, or LGU, and the people in the community that we can engage. These engagements can cut across many levels and layers and create different meanings depending on the orientation and perspective of our stakeholders. Let me start by asking some questions for us all to ponder. What does it mean to serve the nation? Para sa ano itong lahat? Do you need to fight an enemy, die in the process, and become a hero? Do you need to think of putting all of your resources in creating a government who guarantees equitable distribution of wealth, makes collective participation towards a common beneficial goal, and strive to have a perfect society? Or do you take a moment to look at your own community, examine some of their problems, sort them, and decide which one is doable to solve, formulate a plan, implement it, and rest with the notion that your little effort somehow created a small contribution in inspiring and mobilizing people to take small steps towards collective outcome. Oftentimes, it is easy for us to get swamped by so many problems and become disheartened, disillusioned, and exhausted, never doing anything because the thought itself is difficult to bear. If you take a moment and find some space to dissect contents in social media, you would realize that many people can share many things. They can inform us about their own personal struggles with families and relationships, perhaps about death, breakups, or even suffering in some form of mental illness. They may share videos about floods, earthquake damages, or vehicular accidents in their areas. They may tell us about political instability or even wars in some parts of the world affecting them, or they can emphasize how better their lives are compared to ours, how knowledgeable they are on so many subject matters, and that their worldview is much profound or superior than anyone else, and that they hold the answer to the COVID-19 problem. The point simply is problems abound. There will never be any shortage of them. They will never go away on their own, and they can evolve from simple to pandemic proportions. So, where can NSTP locate itself? The law that governs NSTP, or Republic Act 9163, specifies three concentrations, and these are ROTC, or the Reserve Officer Training Corps, the CWTS, or Civic Welfare Training Service, and the LTS, or Literacy Training Service. If you think and feel that you can contribute to national security in defense of your countrymen against foreign or domestic aggressors who would like to bring death, destruction, and cruelty, then you may think of training in the military orientation of ROTC. The soldier, as the epitome of courage, dedication, loyalty, integrity, and valor, takes an oath to lay down his or her life to preserve the republic, to prevent the enemy to conquer his nation. Kaya nga meron tayong National Heroes Day, which we celebrated last August 23, to remind us all of the lives of his sacrifice so that our present and the future can be viable, vibrant, and promising. If you think and feel that you can find ways to improve the situations in your community in areas of health, commerce, governance, environment, disaster mitigation, safety, recreations, and community empowerment, then you can train in CWTS. As you immerse in your community, you will appreciate the web of human relationships, the entanglements, and the exciting process of discourse between and among people. Parati kong tinatanong bakit marami ang mga Bombay na nagpapautang dito sa Pilipinas. When we begin to dissect the issue and formulate ways to access knowledge and understanding of the process, curious questions can lead to answers. Can it be because of the restrictions imposed by banks for loans, both in terms of minimum amount and collateral guarantees, that prevent people from borrowing from these establishments? And mind us all, there are so many banks around. Could it be related to our beliefs about utang and gaba? The Bombay, the enterprising Indians from India, who are probably also from Punjab, Bangalore, or New Delhi, sees this need, understand the situation, creates a solution to the problem, and hugely benefit themselves and the people in the communities at multiple levels. What is clear is that money has to circulate for businesses to thrive, whether small, medium, or large scale. Seems though that the banking system supports only the medium and large scale businesses and ignores the smaller guys. So kung gusto mong tulungan ng sari-sari store owner o kung sino man dyan na maliliit na negosyante na mag-isip ng paraan para palaguin ang negosyo, gawing supermarket ito, magkaroon ng branches nationwide at abroad, sumali sa e-commerce para sa susunod na sale ng Shopee 10/10 ay maraming bumili. Baka pwede ka sa CWTS. Malaki ang hamon. Pwede ka bang makisali sa pagtugon? And if you think and feel that the future can be guaranteed vibrant and positive, and that you believe in the power of education and learning to transform a mediocre condition to an excellent one, then perhaps you can train in the LDS. Children are the promise to a future that we do not know yet. However, what we do with them today or what we neglect to do can have lasting impact in their psychosocial makeup. Teaching takes many forms and challenges anyone to be creative. Being a developmental psychologist, when we create a nurturing environment for children, when we provide the necessary scaffold in their exploration, discoveries, and achievements, when we invite them and participate in their own learning, when we make the process fun, exciting, and remove with pretensions and barriers, the outcome can be a well-rounded learner. As we are learner ourselves, it is only fitting that we share what we know. You can never tell. That kid you tell stories about places and travels can one day become an international relations expert. Or that kid who may annoy you because she seems to be persistently asking too many questions during your sessions will one day become a scientist. Who knows what the future holds? We can only do things in the present, do the best we can, and the future can eventually happen. If we invest today, a bright future can be our reward. There had been several changes that we have done for UPV and NSTP. We will not go into their details as they can be lengthy and boring, but the most notable and have implications in the delivery and quality of instruction is our active recruitment of many NSTP instructors, and consequently, offering many sections as well. Currently, we have 15 of them, and that translates to manageable class sizes, better teacher-student correspondence and consolidation, better planning and learning outcomes, and more specific, oriented, and targeted initiatives for each class. In the near future, we can recruit more to further improve the student-teacher ratio. Together, we should envision NSTP as our way of giving back to the community, an opportunity to transform lives, create impact, and dedicate our resources for a future that we can all enjoy and celebrate. Bilang mga eskular ng bayan, tayo ay makilahok sa ating pagbulat at pagbangon. Maraming salamat at manatili po tayong lahat na inspirado. Kaya nating baguhin ang ating mga pananaw at ugali, lalo na sa hamon ng COVID-19. Kaya natin to. Welcome to NSTP Academic Year 2021-2022, and let us all embrace the challenges ahead of us.
Thank you very much, Sir Darius, for your opening remarks as well as supporting NSTP by taking time to record your message. So now I would like to introduce our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Philip Ian P. Padilla. Sir Pip, as most in the university know him, is a professor of microbiology, a registered microbiologist, and a medical doctor, a graduate of UP Visayas with a degree of BS Biology and graduating cum laude, the UP College of Medicine with a degree of Doctor of Medicine, and Nagasaki University's Institute of Tropical Medicine for his PhD in medical science or bacteriology, a postdoctoral research fellow in biochemistry and cell biology at the Pulmonary Critical Care Medicine Branch, National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute of the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, and a former visiting professor of molecular epidemiology in Nagasaki University. He teaches molecular biology and public health microbiology in both undergraduate and graduate courses in UPV, so the Clovers are definitely lucky to be under his tutelage. He was recently awarded the 2020 UPV Chancellor's Award for Outstanding Public Service. So everyone, let's welcome Dr. Philip Ayan Padilla for his message. Sir
Hi.
Pip, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Is my audio okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, yes. So thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to all the freshmen, incoming freshmen of academic year 2021-2022. In behalf of the Campusano administration and the team in the academic affairs, we welcome you all as NSTP students for the incoming first semester. First of all, we'd like to thank Professor Dario Salaum for handling the NSTP for the past, I think, 2 years and being able to transition NSTP from a face-to-face mode to a remote learning mode. The program has been redesigned in order to cope with this current pandemic. And of course, we'd also like to welcome the current or last month, the incoming NSTP director, Professor Nathaniel Samson. So as you know, NSTP is composed of our OTC, CWS, CWTS, and LTS. You are free to choose which of the components you'd like to be enrolled in so that you can make the maximum impact in the chosen community where you are assigned. NSTP is also mandated by law to be able to reach out to different communities, especially where the higher education institution is located. In this case, UPV in Miagao, Iloilo. When you go into your different communities, take note that the overall arching global goal is the Sustainable Development Goal, or the SDGs. This is also in line with the different parts or mandate of UP Visayas, or UP in general, which is instruction, research, and public service. So in terms of volunteerism, we also have the pahinungod component of UP, wherein students, faculty, and staff are encouraged to volunteer in their different communities. I hope you will be able to enjoy and design specific programs in the community where you are assigned that will make a difference in your stakeholders, as well as for you to learn the different skills in dealing with the community in a real life situation where you apply your theoretical knowledge as you move into the first year of your college life here in UP Visayas. I'd like to highlight the fact that we are in remote learning mode. I would be remiss if, as a doctor, I want to emphasize that even at your homes, when you go outside your respective barangays, not for NSTP, but because we are still in remote learning mode, we must properly observe the minimum public health standards, the wearing of face covering, washing of hands, and physical distancing. I hope that you can apply these public health standards as well when you go into your respective communities, so that there is translation as to your knowledge in public health, including advocacy to vaccination, wherein the Philippines is lagging behind. And hopefully, by the time you finish this semester with your health, vaccination would be almost 80 to 90%, although that's a very high bar to meet, so that you as students will be able to avail already of perhaps a limited face-to-face session when we go into the second semester. In relation to that, the BS Public Health students, because they have already been allowed a limited face-to-face by CHED and the IATF. The fourth year, BS Public Health are actually going into a pilot mode for remote learning in the laboratory by the end of the first semester this academic year. So the pandemic is a threat as well as an opportunity for us, for you as NSTP students, to devise innovative ways to educate our communities with regards to the pandemic and find ways for your learning competencies to flourish in this time of the pandemic, and at the same time enjoy learning from your respective communities. So it's a challenging year ahead of us. I wish you good luck and a great voyage in UP Visayas during the first sem of academic year 2021-2022. You are in good hands with Sir Nat Samson and his team and his NSTP team, where they will exert every effort to conduct a very learner-centered NSTP in the next coming academic year. So thank you very much. Back to you, Charisse and Ryan. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, BCAA Padilla, for your message and your unwavering support to the program. So as a token of gratitude to our speakers, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation. The certificate reads, "This certification is presented to Philip Ian P. Padilla, MD, PhD, and the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs of UP Visayas for sharing his insights on the National Service Training Program during the 2021 NSTP opening exercises, given this 25th day of September 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Visayas, Miagao, Iloilo via Zoom." Signed, Professor Nathaniel Samson, Director, NSTP, yours truly, NSTP Opening Exercises Chair, and Mr. Ryan Vincent S. Hiballes, NSTP Opening Exercises Co-Chair.
Right. So the same text also goes for Professor Darius Salaum. Thank you very much again, Sir Darius. Okay, so I'm sure you're all excited to meet your NSTP instructors. However, we must still introduce to you the person at the helm. I am very glad to have the opportunity to introduce our current NSTP director, okay, Professor Nathaniel G. Samson. So our NSTP director is an associate professor with the Department of Accounting and Marketing of the UPV College of Management. He obtained his Master of Management from UPV and the Certificate of Professional Training and Development from Ateneo de Manila University. He teaches subjects in marketing, entrepreneurship, strategic planning, and human and organizational development. For many years, he has been involved as resource person for human resources training and development programs of public and private organizations. I have been able to work with him since he joined the NSTP Pool of Instructors last academic year 2019 to 2020 and has handled the common and CWTS components during that time. So Sir Nats, as we fondly call him, values friendship and relationship and pursues life-work balance and is inspired every day by his two lovely daughters. Here to introduce the entire pool of the UPV National Service Training Program instructors is Professor Nathaniel G. Samson. Good morning, Sir Nat.
Thank you, Sir Ryan, and good morning to all. Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs Padilla, thank you for being with us today and for the strong support for the NSTP. and for providing our students as early as now the perspective for NSTP vis-a-vis global and national issues. Again, thank you, Sir Pip. Our former NSTP director, Sir Darius, in his message earlier, gave you a comprehensive overview of the NSTP in UP Visayas and posing some challenges to you students. He also mentioned that our program in UP Visayas, both in Miagao and city campuses, uh, are facilitated by competent, passionate, inspired, and dedicated members of the faculty and staff. My task now is to introduce your instructors for academic year 2021-2022. I'll introduce them one by one for you to know them as early as now a little more, as they will be your companion and facilitators in your journey, in your year-long journey with NSTP. Here they are. We have two instructors from the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. We have MS Byril Tiara M. Galon. Byril is a BS Fisheries cum laude major in Fisheries Processing Technology graduate from UP Visayas. She is a top-notcher, fourth placer in the 2017 Fisheries Licensure exam. In the Institute of Fisheries Processing Technology, she handles undergraduate courses in microbiology and post-harvest technologies. Her research interests involve fish biochemistry and molecular biology. Apart from teaching and research, Byril is inclined to creative and graphic arts, and her hobbies include baking, watching K-dramas, and movies. Also, from the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences is MS Jonalyn P. Mateo. Jonalyn, as we would call her, is a licensed fisheries technologist. She obtained her Master of Science in Fisheries, major in Fisheries Biology from UP Visayas, and teaches at the Institute of Marine Fisheries and Oceanology of the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. She is also a supervisory board member of the International Society for Applied Phycology and has authored and co-authored publications on seaweed research, specifically on seaweed farming and management. Now from the College of Sciences, your faculty instructors. First in the list is Dr. Lorena P. Samentar. Dr. Samentar is an assistant professor 5 at the Division of Biological Sciences, handling molecular biology and development biology courses, both in the graduate and undergraduate programs of the College of Arts and Sciences. She obtained her Bachelor of Science in Biology, major in microbiology from the UP Visayas, and MS Biology in Development Biology also from UP Visayas, and her PhD in Cell and Molecular Biology from the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. She was an active Pahidungod faculty volunteer and would love moving around places, visiting pahinungod teachers. She mentions that she looks forward to a fruitful and meaningful year in the NSTP program amidst the challenges of the current pandemic. Also from the College of Arts and Sciences is Ms. G. Grace P. Suyu. G. Grace is a faculty member of psychology from the Division of Social Sciences. She has a multidisciplinary background encompassing fisheries and land use management. Ms. Suyu brings with her more than a decade of research experience in areas related to environmental perceptions and behaviors, fisheries, policy and governance, coping, adaptation strategies to environmental, social changes, and social networks in the context of value chain analysis. We also have a lecturer from the College of Arts and Sciences, Mr. Adrian P. Rigor. Adrian is a lecturer from the Division of Social Sciences and handles psychology and GE courses. He is a licensed psychometrician and ranked 7th in the 2019 board licensure exam for psychologist and psychometrician. Currently, he is taking a Master of Arts degree in counseling psychology at the Ateneo de Manila University. From the staff members of the College of Arts and Sciences, we have Ms. Maria Cristina Molano. Ms. Molano is from the CAS and is an admin assistant from the Office of the Dean. She finished her biological science degree at the West Visayas State University and earned her master's degree at UP Visayas in 2007. Ma'am Tina started teaching NSTP last 2020-2021. Her passion for community service is translated in being very active in the academic group of the faculty and staff we call Ugyon in the university. She enjoys teaching in her church during her free time as a regular youth encounter speaker in the Youth Encounter of the Archdiocesan Formation Program. With her from the College of Arts and Sciences staff is Ms. Maria Regina Madrid Montevergen. Ms. Montevergen is a graduate of a bachelor's degree in psychology management and has completed 36 units of master's in education, major in guidance from the University of the Philippines. Currently, she is an administrative assistant at the Office of the Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. She also serves as Public Relations Officer and Treasurer of the All UP Workers Union Iloilo chapter and is a council member of the UPV Anti-Sexual Harassment Office of UP Visayas. And our lone instructor from the School of Technology is Mr. Alandino E. Moscoso. Sir Alan holds a Master of Environmental Studies degree and is currently a member of the research staff of the so-called SOTEC. His research interests include waste management, environmental education, and application of geographic information systems. Sir Alan has joined NSTP since the first semester of 2019-2020. We have two faculty members who are NSTP instructors from the College of Management. They are our MCs for this morning program. Firstly, we have Mr. Ryan Vincent S. Ebalias. Sir Ryan is a certified public accountant and a graduate of BS Accountancy and Master of Management major in Business Management from UP Visayas. He passed the CPA licensure exam in 2014. Presently an instructor at the Department of Accounting and Marketing of the College of Management and is teaching audit, finance, management, financial accounting, and entrepreneurship subjects. Also from the College of Management is MS Caris Emeline M. Bautista. Caris, as we would call her, is also a certified public accountant by profession. MS Bautista has worked in both internal and external audit with exposure to the poultry integration, banking, semiconductor, educational healthcare, business process outsourcing, manpower provision, and real estate and leasing. She obtained her accountancy degree at the Central Philippine University and her Master of Management major in Business Management degree from the University of the Philippines, Visayas. Currently, Ma'am Caris is an instructor at the Department of Management, College of Management, teaching operations management and management science. She is also the UPV NSTP coordinator for CWTS and LTS components for the city campus. And she has been with NSTP since 2018. Outside her work, she loves to cook, watch movies, and K-drama and TV series. With us also as part of our instructors are members of our university staff. Let me start with our dedicated admin assistant at the NSTP office in UPV, MS Mary Celine Nualia. Ma'am Celine, as we would call her, is a graduate of Biological Sciences, BS Biological Sciences from Iloilo Doctors College. She obtained her Masters of Education Bio Units from UP Visayas and completed her Master in Public Administration degree last 2018. She is a licensed professional teacher and has been part of the pool of instructors for NSTP since the second semester of 2019 and 2020. She handles LTS classes. Part or members of our instructors also belong to the research, extension, and professional staff, or the reps of the university. We have MS Annie A. Manzano. MS Manzano, or Ma'am Annie, is a graduate of Psychology and Master of Arts, major in Guidance and Counseling from the University of San Carlos. She obtained her Master of Education from the University of the Philippines, Cebu, and is taking her PhD in Psychology, major in Clinical Psychology at the Silliman University. She is a registered guidance counselor and a licensed professional teacher. Currently, she is the coordinator. She is a guidance specialist at the Office of Student Affairs in UP Visayas. Ma'am Annie, as we would call her, served as CWTS coordinator for the second semester 2018-2019 up to the present, and LTS coordinator for 2020 and 2021. She handles LTS in the NSTP program. From the reps, we also have MS Annalisa G. Linaugo. MS Linaugo is a graduate of the Bachelor of Science of Secondary Education major in Library Science from the Philippine Normal University, batch 1997. She finished her Master of Arts in Library Science from UP Diliman in 2019. A licensed professional teacher since 1997 and a licensed librarian since 1999. She was a former school librarian and substitute teacher for 5 years, a high school and college librarian for 7 years, and library coordinator for 2 years at the Southville International School and colleges. She brings all of these experiences to our NSTP program. Currently, she is the University Librarian of UP Visayas. We also have MS Jane Bernadette A. Sansoles. MS Sansoles is a graduate of a Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in Preschool Education, batch 2013, from the University of San Agustin. She earned units in Master of Arts in Special Education in the same institution, and at present is pursuing his Master's in Public Administration from the Guimaras State College. Her passion for young children brought her to teach for 7 years at the UPV Gender and Development Program, Balay-Balay Child Minding Center. She has handled children aging 2 to 4 years old of UPV employees and nearby communities. Currently, she is an administrative aide at the UPV library. And last but not the least, we have MS Sarina G. Nasita. MS Nasita is an administrative officer at the UPV Health Services Unit at the UP Visayas Miagao campus in Miagao. She obtained her BS Education degree from the West Visayas State University and a licensed teacher. She also studied her Master's in Education and Master of Management degrees UP Visayas and has been teaching in NSTP since the second semester of academic year 2018 up to the present. Can I take a breather, please? There, you have them. You have now virtually met your instructors. Students, please let us give your instructors all together a virtual applause. As you might have known by now, the National Service Training Program has 3 components. The Reserve Officers Training Corps, or the ROTC, the Civic Welfare Training Service, or the CWTS, and the Literacy Training Service, or LTS. In UP Visayas, we offer these three components. I'm sure you all would want to know a little more about each of these components, how each component may suit your preferences, skills, and interests, and how each component can serve as a channel for your efforts towards nation building as student citizens. For this purpose, we have invited representatives from your group of instructors handling the different components. For the ROTC, we have invited GL Idelion, former ROTC Corps Commander and now the Tactical Officer of ROTC in UP Visayas. For CWTS, we will have Sir Ryan Iballes, and for LTS, we will have Ma'am Caris Bautista.
Can you hear me? I just want to confirm.
Yes, Jael, we can hear you.
All right. Sige. Well, thank you, Sir Nats, for the introduction. Good day, everyone. I am Juan Jael Edilion, as introduced by Sir Nats, the former ROTC Corps Commander last year and currently a Tactical Officer. Additionally as well, I am also a fourth-year student under the program Bachelor of Arts in Communication and Media Studies. So today I've been invited to introduce to you the ROTC program. So what is ROTC? To give you a brief overview, I think we first have to look at two key laws that tell us a lot about what ROTC is. First of which is Section 4, Article 2 of the Constitution, wherein it states that the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people, and under which it also adds that the government may call upon the people to defend the state, and in fulfillment thereof, all citizens may be required under conditions provided by law to render personal, military, or civil service. And as of now, the law that gives that provision for military training is RA 9163, also known as the NSTP Act, which makes ROTC optional, since this used to be mandatory, and put it under the NSTP program. So with this, ROTC is in a position wherein you will be trained how to serve your country and how to defend it in cases of emergencies. So that is the whole gist of ROTC. Now, what to expect from the ROTC program? Well, since last year, we have made some drastic changes to how we handle ROTC because of the remote learning setup. However, the three basic tenets that we follow for UP ROTC is duty, honor, and country, no matter the situation. And so we had to adjust. So instead of drills and regular uniform checkups, we have transitioned to instead instill these values and the lessons that we need to teach in ROTC through online learning. As such, we have given the previous batch multiple group assignments for them to accomplish. And all of these would tackle the different things that are being taught in military science, uh, such as the such as military history. You have interior guard duty, etc., etc. And finally, one thing as well that you can expect from this, because unfortunately, remote learning startup, we will teach you how to keep yourselves physically fit, as we did previously, but that's not something that is the main focus anymore. Our main focus for ROTC is to instill discipline and esprit de corps. Discipline in the remote learning setup, meaning you know how to manage your time well, you can submit your requirements on time, and you make sure that no matter your situation, no matter the challenges you're facing, you can still accomplish everything that you need to accomplish. And esprit de corps. In the ROTC, in ROTC, we try to make the whole program a family. Everyone involved, you're part of the family. And so whenever we do something in ROTC, very rarely do you have to do it alone. More often than not, we try to instill in you the importance of working together, which is why you will find that a lot of your assignments in ROTC will be group assignments, wherein you will have to learn how to work with your peers and to get along well in order to accomplish your tasks. So that is all for my brief introduction as to what ROTC is. So I know that was a bit short, but then again, one of the things that we teach is discipline, and of course, discipline in accordance to time is one of those. So thank you very much for listening, and that is what you can expect from ROTC for this academic year.
Thank you, JL. Okay, so that was the ROTC component. Okay, so as task today, okay, aside from being the MC, I'm also gonna share with you some insights and of course quite a small introduction to the next component, which is CWPS. Okay, so once again, good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Valles, and in behalf of my teammates and co-instructors last semester, I'll be discussing with you today about CWPS. Okay, so just a brief introduction. Okay, so UP remote learning environment. So this pandemic, okay, UP, and not only UPV, but also the entire UP system has adapted the remote learning environment. So in this setup, the instructor and students are interacting in an online virtual environment, so usually from home. So the setup, the learning setup in UP is quite different from other schools. Okay, where in some schools, I believe they meet synchronous meetings every session or every meeting. Okay, but here in UPV, we are leaning towards asynchronous learning. So this quite different setup from a traditional classroom wherein physical presence and attendance is needed. So in UP, attendance to synchronous classes is not required. So because of this special arrangement, okay, we in NSTP had to create adaptations and adjustments to incorporate this in our learning and of course our course. So the asynchronous learning setup is quite different because teachers and students need not meet in real time. Okay, so students are free to perform their tasks on their own comfortable pace. Okay, as you may experience in the coming weeks here in NSTP. So synchronous meetings may be necessary for consultations, especially for project planning. So despite not being a requirement, okay, there are some instructors or teachers who may choose to meet with you from time to time. So that's fine because there are some students who address their concerns through this meeting, synchronous meeting and session. Okay, so just that was a brief introduction on how the learning setup is this pandemic. because CWPS is quite a face-to-face na activity previously, before COVID happened. So we had to make a number of adjustments to carry on with our mandate to extend uh, community projects without putting the students at risk, okay, for infection. So let's move on to the CWPS1 project proposal uh, section. Okay. So after the common module, you kids will have to choose your selected component. And if you selected CWPS in that case, then one of the things that we have to first tackle or your group output would be your project proposal. So um, in my class, okay, and I believe in most of the other CWPS instructors also, team groupings are follow this particular setup. So students are free to group themselves into teams. So this facilitates ease in communication and teamwork. So some of you may have classmates from high school or senior high that are your classmates this here in college too. So usually these people team up together, and that's fine. And that's a good way to start with uh, CWTS. So small groups may be merged together to form sizes that the instructor may be comfortable with. Okay, so CWPS and NSTP have large class sizes, so it is only understandable for your instructors to be able to manage your class as well that we may have to merge some of these groups, okay, so that we can give you more time and attention, okay, to plan and also implement your project. So some may choose to work independently. I have heard some students who have worked independently. They opted not to join groups, and that is also fine. Okay. So after that, there was a project idea generation, time allocation in our course. So some of the popular project ideas were sanitation, livelihood, DRRM or disaster risk reduction and management, financial literacy, health, PPE crafting. So this was during the height of the pandemic, no? Last a couple of stems back, and also academic materials like for elementary and preschool students. Okay. So after that, the teams proceeded to team brainstorming. So internal team discussions were made about possible project implementation. So teams may take advantage of their existing advocacy, talents, networks, or knowledge. So consultation sessions, with instructors are usually set up to discuss the feasibility of this project. So workload may be based on the size of the team. So you can expect that if you have a larger team, your instructor may require you to have more output or may increase the scope of your project. However, for those who are working in probably 3 or 5 people per group, then this workload may be smaller, or you may expect a smaller workload as compared to those bigger or larger work groups. Okay, so these are the components of our project proposal paper. So that includes a background of the selected community, current situation, okay, an explanation of your advocacy and motivation, why you chose your project, why that particular community, and what do you expect to impact the inhabitants or the members there. So the paper also includes goals, objectives, and activities. First, you have your objectives, SMART goals, and activities. Okay, so next, the CWTS project implementation. So this part is, this happens in the next SEM already. So this second SEM, okay, after the common module and of course CWTS1. So here, teams are, we start our SEM by conducting a review of the first SEM proposal. So you are expected to maintain your team. You work with the same people from the first SEM, unless there are changes in some course or schools or other external concerns. Okay, so aside from that, the teams and the instructors make a a couple of sessions for project planning and development. So we identified the target audience, beneficiaries, implementation platform, if we can do this online, virtual, or need for a face-to-face na project, timeline, resource person, partner organization, experience, and budget, among others. Okay, so the implementation itself is given a 2 month window. Okay, this happened last time. So students uh, have the freedom to implement their selected projects within a 2 month window. So this is quite a wide time allocation. Okay, to implement their respective projects. So we assign them or we require them to create weekly task monitoring sheets and also identify pending, ongoing, and completed tasks with target dates. Okay, so after the implementation, okay, we also request the students to compile all their work into a final paper. So this includes the proposal from the first SEM, the project implementation, with which documents the methodology, results of discussion, impact of the project to the community, and assessment of the project. There are a couple of appendices there, which include pictures, videos, and other forms of documentation. Okay, so I'd like to show you some of the projects that were implemented last SEM, okay, for CWTS. So the first one is Project Calma, Mending Youth Storming Minds. So this is a 3-session webinar mental health awareness among youth and adolescents. So their partners included resource persons with expertise on the field, and some of their challenges included securing committed participants and expert resource persons for the 3 sessions. Okay, so this was their webinar. These were 3 sessions, and we'll know more about this project because they'll share their insights and experiences in a while. Okay, so another project last time was Project #Wag Mas Kalat. So this is an information dissemination campaign and distribution of special waste bin for proper mass disposal. So partners included barangay officials in General Santos and their LGU, and their challenges included fundraising for purchase of waste bins and shifting quarantine protocols for physical distribution. Okay, so as you may notice, we have a wide network of students. No, we're not limited here in Iloilo and Panay, but we also have students and project implementations as far as Mindanao. Okay, and the last one, we have Project Platform, Plastic Free Community. So this physical and social media information campaign on reducing plastic usage. So this was conducted in Antique. So they initially conducted a face-to-face sort of mini seminar. As you can see, there's social distancing protocols there. But towards the end of the project and the shifting, like stricto, and there was strict implementation of quarantine protocol, so we have to shift our project into a Facebook information campaign. Okay. So next, so student feedback on online implementation. So our students in the city of PS informed us that it was quite overwhelming, given that they were first-year students and new to the UP culture. But despite this, they also encountered communication difficulties across teams because they may not be within the same location. Okay, so despite aside from this, there are also constant adjustments in planning, implementation due to quarantine protocols. But despite all of these challenges and problems, they shared that the challenging yet fulfilling experiences, they were able to provide service to their selected community. Okay, so before I end my discussion, I'd like to thank my fellow instructors last SEM for CWTS. So these were Ms. Bayril, Galon, myself, Ms. Jonalyn Mateo, Sir Alan Moscoso, Sir Nat, and Sir Edsel. So that will be all, and thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you, Sir Ryan. So now it's the turn of NSTP LTS component. So I actually have a little math exercise for you. Okay, I'll be giving a few minutes for everyone to probably do a mental math um, challenge. Okay, so yeah, we have 7 items here, and then you have to add all the answers from questions 1 to 7. Okay. Okay, so first you write down 2, and then you add this 2 multiplied by 2. Okay, and then you add one more 2. Yeah. So for the fourth item, you multiply 3 by 9 and add it to your current number. You multiply 4 by 10 and add it again to your current number. Then you add 15, 7, and 9. Okay, you take 18 divided by 3, multiply it by 2, and then multiply it again by 4. You take 6 and divide it by 3, multiply it by 3, and you add both numbers, and you add all answers from questions 1 to 7. Okay, so yeah. There, I hope, can I see, I guess, a show of hands if somebody was able to get the answer already? Okay, I saw one hand raised. Anyway, sige, so I'll be sharing the answer in a bit. Actually, the answer is 160. Okay, so yeah, so someone got the answer. So actually, each number here represents the number of teachers that you have in each level of learning. Okay, so this number 160 is an approximation of the number of teachers you may have undergone since nursery to college, assuming of course that you don't get other subjects under the same teacher. Add to this the number of people who you may have asked to help you with your assignments, your sports and academic event coaches, your organization advisors, your guardians, your substitute teachers, your guidance counselors, your student teachers who might have done their practicum in your school, even your catechism or Sunday school teachers. Approximately 160 or more people have poured or will pour out part of themselves into molding you into the person you are today and will become 4 or 5 or more years from now. Indeed, it takes almost a barangay to produce a college graduate. And I hope as these 160 people have given part of themselves to you, you will be able to give part of yourselves to others. So since this morning, we have been discussing about the NSTP, and I would just like to reiterate expectations from NSTP students. Okay, so by the end of the semester, or perhaps even towards the end of the common module, you are expected to know your role as youth in nation building and become civic or military leaders who could be called upon by the nation in case your services are needed. So emphasis on the word needed. Here's a snippet of a thought piece from Andrew Marasigan, a columnist for the Philippine Star. Pre-pandemic and in January 2020, the Program for International Student Assessment placed Filipino children dead last in reading among 79 personalities evaluated. In science, Filipino children ranked 71st out of 79. In math, Filipinos ranked second to the last. Please note that this was a survey in a face-to-face setup. How much more would today's Filipino students fare in learning English, Filipino, and math in the current modular setup when we are already dead last in reading? Here's a collection of newspaper headlines that gives us a picture of what the Philippine education system was like in 2020. These are articles from last week's newspapers, which still seem to echo last year's headlines. So in correlation to what is expected of us as NSTP students, what does the Philippines need? The Philippines needs student volunteers and advocates for literacy, and your services as civic leaders and literacy advocates are definitely needed. So, in light of what the Philippines needs at this very moment, let me introduce to you the Literacy Training Service. So the Literacy Training Service is the NSTP component designed to train the students to teach literacy and numeracy skills to school children, out of school youth, and segments of society in need of your services. Some of you are worried that you might not have the temperament to teach kids in the kindergarten to elementary school ages, or that you may feel inadequate to teach a certain subject. The definition of LTS includes other segments of society. This means that you don't have to teach kids only. You can teach out of school youths, even other adults and senior citizens who want to learn new skills. And you won't have to teach just math or Filipino. This is the World Economic Forum's new vision for education, where it enumerates several 21st century skills that students need to have in the 21st century. This means that these are the minimum requirements that we must have as students to begin to compete in the international market and to become lifelong learners. Notice that the literacy and numeracy are only two of the literacies we need. We also need to become literate in science, our finances, in information technology, and in our culture and those of the other members of the global village or the world that we live in. Aside from the foundational literacies, there are also attitudes and competencies that we need to have. If you look at this framework, there is not just only math or English or Filipino to teach. There are 16 skills that you can teach. You might tell me, ma'am, I don't think I have those 16 skills yet. So how can I teach them? Take to heart this motto, Docendo Decimos, which means by teaching, we learn. While we look forward to both learning while we teach, we, the LTS instructors, also have to equip you for your tasks at hand with the following topics. First, we will learn the current state of education in the Philippines. Then we will focus on the types of learning and cognitive milestones of your learners, as well as the principles of effective teaching for various age groups. We will also learn basic project management and educational needs assessment, and then we will craft our LTS proposals, similar to what the CWTS people are doing. Finally, in the second semester, we will be implementing our proposals. So you might be curious, what did LTS look like in UPV pre-pandemic? In the previous semesters, LTS was offered in the Miagao campus only. Classes adopted barangays in Miagao and held face-to-face tutorials and classes to the learners in the barangay. In the current setup of LTS, we will be equipping you through Moodle-based UPV learning management system. You will be provided learning materials such as written lectures and study guides, videos, articles, and as Sir Ryan previously explained, synchronous sessions by your LTS instructors. However, attendance is not a class requirement. For the implementation of your LTS project proposal, you can meet with your learners online, or if you belong to the same household, face-to-face with the appropriate physical distancing measures. We highly discourage mass gatherings, especially if your learners are of nursery, kindergarten, and elementary school ages. So you may now be thinking, what's a good proposal to work on for LTS? Here are some of our suggestions. So you can tutor the younger learners in your family and in your community with their lessons. Again, you don't have to teach only kids. You can spend time with your parents or even your grandparents or aunts and uncles and teach them information and communications technology literacy by teaching them how to use their smartphones or their desktop computers or whatever IT gadget they need help with. If you know a teacher online who finds it difficult to use the computer and software for online teaching, you can also teach them or provide them a refresher course as well. You can also develop topics or materials on topics such as mental health, voters, and education and financial literacy, and hold online webinars for these. You can also hold online webinar workshops for character building for students on the 7 traits included in the World Economic Forum's framework, which are curiosity, initiative, persistence or grit, adaptability, leadership, and social and cultural awareness. You can also volunteer to assist your former elementary or junior or senior high school teachers, or you can reach out to the public local schools in your vicinity and volunteer with them, such as assisting in proofreading the modules. As we learned earlier, some of the modules have errors, and checking the completed modules. However, the time you spend in assisting teachers should only be secondary to the time that you will spend actually teaching learners. So you might have better ideas in promoting literacy than we do, as the list in the previous slide is not exhaustive. Your creativity is the limit. However, it is important that we can measure how well you have achieved your objectives for your proposal. So we, the LTS instructors, will be guiding and approving your LTS proposal prior to implementation. I am inviting you to join us at the UPV NSTP Literacy Training Service. Mga eskolar ng bayan, natututo habang nagtuturo sa bayan. But don't take just my, Sir Ryan's, and your Manong Jail's word for what the 3 components each have to offer. So selected Manongs and Manangs who have taken NSTP 1 and 2 in the last academic year will be sharing with us today their NSTP reflections. For LTS, we have teachers Eliza Faith Uyhen, Kametchi Ann Blanca Flor, and Blanca Ann de la Serna. For ROTC, we have Cadets George Aldwin Alberto, Sofia Gail Ang, and Nina Francesca Rivas. And for CWTS, we have mental health advocates Catherine Romina Aperocho, Kylene Luis Concebit, Jessa Pamado, Maria Regine Sauquillo, Yasmin Francesca Segotier, and Aaron Zulweta. So let's watch their brief insight videos.
Malala Yousafzai once said, "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." My name is Eliza. I chose the LTS component for my NSTP last year, and I am here to introduce to you what Literacy Training Service is all about. In LTS, we create great opportunities for students to carry out projects that promote literacy and provide support, whether to fellow students, younger ones, out-of-school youth, or indigenous children. Not only are students trained with skills and experience of teaching, but also engages them in the community while learning values like volunteerism and leadership. Even with the challenging setup and limiting restriction, LTS stayed true to its purpose of promoting literacy and numeracy, especially during a time where a pandemic has shaken the lives of all learners. In fact, LTS served as a way for volunteers to assist struggling students as they shifted to the new mode of learning, guiding them how to effectively learn and adjust to this unfamiliar ground. Planning and implementing the project, albeit exhausting, was well worth the effort. My LTS journey has made me realize that even the tiniest effort we make to help those who do not have the means creates a lasting impression. Having witnessed how much my learners value education and their strong motivation to continue filled me with so much hope and desire to work harder for a bright future ready for the generation to follow. Now it's your turn to start your teaching journey and join us in shaping this community towards a literate society. Thank you and may God bless us all.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Mato.
I'm Aaron C. Zulueta.
I am Catherine Aporocho.
I'm Maria Regine Sauquillo.
I am Yasmin Francesca Olivero Switcher.
I am Kaylee Louise Concebit. I am one of the team members of Project Calma, Mending Youth Storming Minds.
And we are the Magic Menders.
Our project was entitled Project Alma, Mending Youth's Storming Minds. It sought to educate the youth about the nature and significance of mental health awareness and the ways on how to maintain its wellness. Our project was divided into 3 sessions, namely Introduction to Mental Health, Stress Management, and Rising Above Challenges, which were conducted for 3 consecutive Saturdays.
My experience during the preparation for our project is described by the word fun. I got to enjoy our planning and brainstorming sessions, inviting the speakers, socializing with the participants, and of course promoting our project. Sometimes schedules were hectic and things weren't going as planned, but I can say that the result outweighed the struggles.
So in the process of making the project, our team really made time to plan and prepare for the implementation of the project. Despite our hectic and conflicting schedules, the team really made efforts in meeting halfway in doing the task. So though having scheduled plans, we can admit that some of them were not met due to a variety of reasons. However, this taught us to be more creative, resourceful, and be more cooperative.
And I think one of the most difficult things that we have to find our way through is how to let our participants engage and share their own thoughts freely within the said webinar and topic. But I'm seriously thankful that way before that the actual webinar happened, we managed to find and procured activities such as games and open forums and platforms such as this Google Form type of website that we can let them share their own specific ideas, even though it is limited to one word, a sentence, or a phrase.
What I will be sharing to you is my experience during our project implementation stage. If I were to describe the stage, it was fun and amazing and at the same time challenging. It was fun and amazing because we met new opportunities. We got to meet a lot of new people from Antique, people from Isulan, Sultan Kudarat, people from Batotan, Iloilo, and of course our guest speakers. We got to interact through our open forums and as well as by playing our icebreaker games. It was challenging because given the setup, the number one thing that we need to consider was the connectivity. We don't have the assurance that participants will attend at certain session. We don't have the assurance that we will have a stable internet connection and of course the technical issues. However, despite those challenges, despite those limitations, I can still call our project a successful one. Why? Because we are here speaking in front of all of you.
So in the implementation of our project, I can say that this was the most fun and enjoying part of the project because we interacted with the participants, we shared our knowledge, our experiences and opinions to them, and we get to make a new connection with new connections with other people. After the implementation, we get to proceed to our final paper. I can say that this was the easiest part of the project because if the execution of the project is good, then this part will just be tying up loose ends, and that's it.
Our Project Calmada title itself is tantamount to what I have experienced. Conducting it serves as a breather, seemingly taking away the stress that we have had individually experienced and being a helping extension to have of minds. We chose CWTS and it help us to be more empathetic, especially in turbulent times like this. Be resourceful and cooperative, being a team throughout and after the implementation. So, I am utterly gratified that I chose CWTS.
How was your week so far?
Are you excited being a freshie?
Are you overwhelmed with new things and experiences?
On top of that, do you know what NSTP component you would be joining?
We, former RTC freshies, will give you insights, experiences, and the things we've learned in this component.
First off, I have to admit, I was hesitant to be a cadet. I thought that the drills would be a bit too much for me.
Same goes here. I'm afraid that they may take me away from home and send me to their military camp to be trained.
Me too. I was worried that maybe the instructor was stern and strict.
So why did we still pursue ROTC, you may ask?
The truth is, we were once scared, afraid, and worried. But ROTC made us realize that we must turn our weaknesses into our strengths. That we should not let our emotions control us. Rather, we must be the ones who control them.
Here at ROTC, we learn to be disciplined and determined in the tasks that we do. We are taught to give respect to authorities, to the nation, and to our fellow citizens. Not just that, we are also being prepared to be an effective servant leader to our country and to our fellow men.
We were trained to be good team players that value unity and cooperation. Most of our outputs were done as a group, and through this, we were able to meet new people and interact with different cadets from other college departments. At the end of the SEM, we were able to have bonds that were made possible by joining ROTC.
As a cadet, we were able to understand laws and constitutions pertaining to citizens' welfare, national security, and our duties and responsibilities as civil servants. Aside from that, we discussed certain topics in history and some contemporary issues that involve our obligation to the Filipino people and for the country.
We are also conditioned to work in spite and despite the given situation. I mean, look at us. We were able to finish our first year in this new setup. And though we are products of online learning, the bond we created and the lessons we've learned over the months will always remind us the duties we will willingly fulfill for our beloved country.
So if we were able to do it, then we believe that you can too.
Do you have what it takes to be a cadet?
Follow the path least taken. ROTC.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, former NSTP students. So our NSTP ROTC graduates are now reserve officers, while our CWTS and LTS graduates are now members of the National Service Reserve Corps. And you, fresh persons, will soon be, by the end of this academic year, will be the same. So we, your NSTP instructors, hope that in your quest to complete NSTP, you will see this course and advocacy not just as another subject to comply with, but be part of the larger picture of UPV's offering for giving of oneself to the nation by working on worthwhile causes closest to your heart.
We would like to thank our former students for coming up with these videos, which gave you, our current NSTP students, a glimpse of what transpired in the first year of having NSTP through remote learning.
As such, we would like to present these certificates of appreciation to George Aldwin Alpuerto, for sharing his ROTC experience during the 2021 UPV NSTP opening exercises, given this 25th day of September 2021 at the University of the Philippines, Visayas, Meagao, Iloilo, Bayan. Signed, Professor Nathaniel Thompson, Director of NSTP, yours truly, NSTP Opening Exercises Chair, and Ms. Charisse Bautista, NSTP Opening Exercises Chair. Same goes for Nina Francesca Rivas and Sophia Gale.
We would like to also present the certificate of appreciation to Alyssa Faith Wihen for sharing her LTS experience during the 2021 UPV NSTP opening exercises. So the same text goes for Kamechi Ann Blancaflor and Bianca Marie de la Serna.
We also would like to thank the Magic Menders of CWTS. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Catherine Romina Aparocho for sharing her CWTS experience during the 2021 NSTP opening ceremony. The same text goes for her teammates, Kylene Luis Concebit, Jessa Pamado, Maria Regine Soquilio, Yasmin Francesca Segucher, and Aaron Zulueta. Now we welcome back Sir Nat to give his closing remarks for this occasion.
Thank you, Sir Ryan. Closing remarks for most programs are always a series of thank yous. So here goes. Thank you to the IPO, the ISP staff, especially to Sir Pato. I know you're there, for assisting us in today's Zoom meeting and for facilitating our live streaming on YouTube. Thank you very much for our committee that managed today's opening exercises, chaired by Ma'am Caris, co-chaired by Sir Ryan, with Moms Byrel, Jonalyn, Celine, Sarina, and Annie as members. And for all our NSTP instructors for joining us this morning. Thank you to GL and the student volunteers, Sir Darius and Sir Pip for your inspiring messages. And most especially to our dear Freshies. Thank you for joining us this morning. It is to manage your readiness and expectations for the NSTP in UPV that we are holding this opening program today. We hope this has been most helpful to you. By the way, this half-day activity also serves as our orientation and session 1 for NSTP 1. And what more can I say? Once again, good morning to all. Mabuhay and keep safe always. The last in the series. Thank you very much. Back to you, Ma'am Caris.
Thank you, Sir Nat. So again, we would like to thank the Office of the Chancellor as well and the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs for supporting us in our request, okay, and as well as Professor Julie Prescott of the Information and Publications Office and Professor Rhea Subong of the Data Information Systems Program and Sir Pato or Sir Wilfredo Palete. Thank you very much.
We also would like to share some announcements, okay, before we end our session. Firstly, we would like to remind you to like or follow the official and UPV NSTP Facebook page. Okay, showing that screen right now for university-wide NSTP announcement. So, okay, so sharing it now. Okay, we can also check your LMS from time to time for specific announcements from your instructors.
Yes. Okay, so next, please do not forget to fill up the feedback form for us to improve on our delivery rather of webinars. The link to the Google form is here present in the QR code. We have also shared the link in the Zoom chat box, and please also ask your NSTP instructor if you have not received the link to this Google form, and it will also be posted in the official NSTP Facebook account. Ayan. So don't forget to follow or add our official NSTP account. You will be finding the QR code and the link to the Google form for our feedback for this morning's webinar.
All right. So next, there may be classes holding. Maybe classes will be holding a short meeting after this. So please watch out for announcements from your respective NSTP instructor. So you may also reach out to them to your LMS or your other means of communication to your instructor.
Okay, so I think I know of at least 3 sections who will be meeting, sections 10, 11, and 12. Ayan. So sections 10, and 11, and 12, please reach out to your NSTP instructor for the details for your Zoom meetup right after this webinar. Okay, so that's it for our announcements. Again, please follow the official NSTP Facebook page. Please fill up the feedback form for today's opening exercises. And please check with your instructors for the details of the short online meetings that will be held today. And now, as we always end in the webinars here at UPV, let us sing the UP Naming Mahal.
Sanai inyong ibig.
are looking forward for a fruitful year of volunteerism and offering of ourselves to the nation as one body. Our administrators, us, the instructors, and our eager students of the National Service Training Program. I'm your Ma'am Caris Bautista.
And I'm Sir Ryan Valles. And once again, this has been the NSTP opening exercise. Good morning and take care of everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone. So I'd like to request the panelists to please stay for our group picture.
Thank you. Bagayuhom gid si Sir Ryan. Happy gid siya.
Good morning, everyone.
Impressive, impressive. Thank you very much.
Morning,
Paano
everyone.
naman takapitsa, Ma'am Jonah? Ikapila na ni? Apat na?
Apat mo na sir, nga promise.
Ma'am Carisha, ikalima. Yeah. And then we can get together, Ma'am Annalisa, no? Over June agad. We will find time.
Sir
We will
Pato.
find time. Yeah.
Sir Pato, sorry, can we stop stream?